2009 NFC Championship game. Why do you even ponder passing? You could take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings play-by-play guy. One of the best goalers of all time. So, 2009 NFC Championship game in New Orleans. Minnesota Vikings, led by Brett Favre, go up against the New Orleans Saints, led by Drew Brees. Two of the greatest quarterbacks of their respective eras. This was Brett Favre's last real chance to win a Super Bowl. This was New Orleans taking their second crack at an NFC Championship under head coach Sean Payton. So let's get some backstory on this. Brett Favre was just coming off his 2007 season. He led the Green Bay Packers to the NFC Championship, where he then famously, again, just like in the end 2009, he threw an interception, except this time it was in overtime, to cornerback Webster, which cost the Green Bay Packers a chance to go to the Super Bowl and take on my New England Patriots, which I really wish I would have rather lost to Green Bay than New York. Because I freaking hate New York Giants. But now they ended up beating them, and then Favre was retired. Then I'm retired. Tried to come back. Then then went to the Jets. Then famously retired. Then came back, and then signed with the Packers so he could get signed with the Vikings so he could get back at the Packers, which he did. He started out 6-0, I think it was, as a starter, and then he threw that incredible last-second pass to Michael Lewis. They go 12-4. He has a great season, one of his best seasons of all time in his career. And then Minnesota you had him combined with Adrian Peterson. The two just went off. Favre went 12-4 as the starter. He went 33. He threw 33 touchdown passes to 7 interceptions, threw for over 4,000 yards. And Adrian Peterson had 1,383 yards rushing with 18 touchdowns. That's damn good. So they were primed to go to the Super Bowl. And let's just say for a second they did go to the Super Bowl. Then you go up against Peyton Manning-led Colts, where you had Marvin Harrison, and I think Reggie Wayne. And then you got Dallas Clark, and then on defense you got Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney, all at the height of their powers. And if I'm wrong about Marvin, I think he was still on the team, but if I'm not, then don't crucify me. But that would have been a really good Super Bowl. You got the sheriff and Peyton Manning, and then you got the old gunslinger in Brett Favre. Oh my God, would that have been one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time? And so that would have that's a toss-up whether or not they would have gone on to win, but it would have been a spectacular game, in my opinion. Would have been spectacular. But they didn't. And then another little background. This was also at the height of Bounty Gate, where defensive coordinator Williams was encouraging players for incentives, and we all know Favre got the hell beat out of him. He had to come out, I think, two times because he was just getting walloped. He was getting killed, and because of that, I think he threw a hideous interception that really changed the game. That led to a New Orleans Saints touchdown. Then Peterson didn't have a great game. Yes, he scored 3 touchdowns, but he also, I think, fumbled twice, so that was big. I think they were both in the red zone, so imagine if they go on to score in those 2 red zones, then it's not tied, 28-28. And then, what the hell? If Favre, instead of taking a knee or getting 4 or 5 yards, moving up and they take a 50-something yard field goal, at least they have a chance, because who knows, maybe he missed the field goal, maybe they blocked the field goal, maybe they messed it up. Because at least he wouldn't be remembered for that hideous interception he threw. So at least his legacy wouldn't be so like, man, this guy would just capitulate. And then how do we look at Drew Brees in today's game? Because let's just say they don't ever go back to the Super Bowl. How do we look at Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Does Sean Payton stay as the New Orleans Saints head coach through those 3 years where they just went 7-9? I don't know. I think they probably would have fired him because he wouldn't have had that leverage. And, oh, I won a Super Bowl. And then maybe they don't have that great year in 2011. A lot of what ifs. And then if Favre does win the Super Bowl against the Packers, he ends up, and maybe he doesn't come back the next year, retires like that, wearing the purple and gold, and that would have been the ultimate way to stick it to the Green Bay Packers, saying, I'm the guy. Aaron Rodgers will never be as great as me. I told you I could do it. So it would have been like Brady when he stuck it to Roger. But still, maybe he does come back and he has that terrible season. Then he does retire, but we still all remember him on the podium hoisting up the Super Bowl for the second time in his career. And he definitely would have been still bumped up a little higher in terms of who's the greatest quarterback of all time. And then who knows who would have became the head coach for New Orleans if Sean Payton was fired. Who knows? And then if Sean Payton is fired, where does he go? Does he ever become a head coach again? Probably. Does he? Who knows? I mean, there's so many what ifs with that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I was able to give you a nice retrospect of what could have been and what did happen and what didn't happen. So I hope you enjoyed it.